In the pantheon of modern action cinema, where CGI spectacles often overshadow practical grit and heroes are quippy, self-aware survivors, the character of Aatami Korpi stands as a monolith of silence and sheer unyielding will. First introduced to the world in Jalmari Helander's 2022 surprise hit Sisu, The Man Who Refuses to Die, was an anachronism, a WW2 Finnish commando turned lone prospector, whose confrontation with a fleeing Nazi battalion in the desolate wastes of Lapland became a modern cult classic. The film's genius lay in its simplicity: a gold-hungry Nazi, a minefield, a plane crash, and a protagonist who quite literally walked away from decapitation by bootlace. Sisu, Road to Revenge, stylized as Si2U, is not merely a sequel. It is a thematic escalation, a geographical expansion, and a deeply personal descent into the origins of Aatami Korpi's legend. Where the first film was about greed and survival, the sequel is about grief and justice. It shifts the battlefield from the frozen fells of Finnish Lapland to the bombed-out, politically volatile borderlands of Soviet-occupied Karelia in 1946. This is no longer a man protecting his gold. This is a man reassembling his soul, log by log, while a ghost from his past, a monster as implacable as he is, returns to finish a genocide. This explanation section will dissect every narrative layer, character motivation, historical subtext, and directorial choice. 1.1 The core premise: a house is a metaphor for the soul. The film opens with a silent, almost ritualistic sequence. Aatami Korpi, Jorma Tommila, now aged, weary, but still moving with the coiled precision of a wolf, stands before a weathered wooden house in the Karelian countryside. The year is 1946. The Finnish flag no longer flies here. Soviet banners hang limply from distant poles. Through a series of wordless flashbacks, rendered in stark, desaturated blue, we learn that this house was the site of an unspeakable atrocity. During the Continuation War, 1941 to 1944, a Soviet death squad, led by a man with eyes like frozen mercury, murdered Korpi's wife and children before burning the structure. Korpi survived. He always survives, but survival is not living. Armed with nothing but a sledgehammer, a hand-cranked winch, and that legendary, bottomless well of Sisu, a Finnish concept of stoic determination, grit, and resilience in the face of impossible odds, Korpi dismantles the house. He numbers every log. He carefully wraps the scorched family photographs in oilcloth. He loads the entire skeleton of his former life onto a battered 1940 Sisu truck, a brand-name product placement that feels almost cosmic. His mission is stark. He will cross back into Finland, find a patch of uncontaminated earth, and rebuild his home. Not to forget, but to honor. To say they lived here. This opening 10 minutes contain less than 5 lines of dialogue. Helander trusts the audience to read Tommila's face, a landscape of weathered canyons and hidden magma. We understand, the house is not wood and nail. The house is Korpi's memory, his identity, his penance. And the road to redemption is a highway straight through hell. 1.2 The antagonist unleashed, Igor Draganov. No hero is greater than his villain. Sisu had a cartoonishly evil Nazi, Bruno Heldorf, Axel Henny, who was effective as a snarling foil but lacked depth. Road to Revenge corrects this by introducing Igor Draganov, played with Shakespearean menace by Stephen Lang, famous for Avatar: Don't Breathe. We first meet Draganov not on a battlefield, but in a cage. A Siberian gulag, 1946. He is a skeletal, scarred creature, having spent years in solitary confinement for war crimes, specifically the Karelian Excision of 1942, where his unit wiped out entire civilian populations suspected of harboring partisans. The Soviet authorities, now reeling from Korpi's one-man war against Red Army troops, referenced in the film's prologue as the Korpi incident of the Winter War, need a monster to hunt a monster. The KGB officer, Richard Brake, in a chilling cameo that oozes bureaucratic evil, offers Draganov a deal, a pardon, a bag of gold, and a return to rank in exchange for Korpi's head. Brake's dialogue is a masterclass in menace. You broke Finland's will once, Major. Now break its myth. Lang's Draganov is not a raving lunatic. He is a nihilistic philosopher of pain. He believes that mercy is a strategic error. In a key exposition scene, delivered while sharpening a bayonet with the same knife he used to murder Korpi's daughter, he explains to his squad. You don't kill the body. The body dies easily. You kill the past. You burn the house. Then you burn the memory of the house. Korpi carries his memory on a truck. I will make him carry it into his grave. This personal connection elevates the sequel. This is not a random encounter. This is a final reckoning between two men who have defined each other's nightmares. 1.3 The narrative engine. A 1,000-kilometer chase. Helander structures Road to Revenge as a classic run-and-gun chase narrative, but with the geometric precision of a chess match. Korpi's truck, affectionately dubbed the Ark by the crew, is his queen. Draganov's forces, a rotating panoply of Soviet army regulars, NKVD death squads, and eventually, an entire air wing, are the opposing pieces. The film can be divided into 5 distinct verses, each with its own unique biome and action set piece. Verse I, The Road of Ashes, 0:15:00, 0:35:00. Korpi drives through the post-war moonscape of Karelia. The land is cratered, littered with burned-out T-34 tanks and the skeletons of horses. Draganov intercepts him with a small, brutalist squad on motorcycles and sidecars. The first fight is intimate. Knives, garrotes, a truck winch used as a flail. Korpi kills them all, but, in a tragic irony, spares Draganov because he doesn't recognize him. Draganov has aged, scarred, and shaved his head. He leaves Draganov bleeding in a ditch. Not worth a bullet, Korpi mutters, his longest line of dialogue. This mistake will haunt him. Verse 2. The Iron Baptism, 0:35:00, 0:55:00. Draganov, humiliated but alive, calls in air support. 2 Ilyshanael, 2 Bark attack aircraft, nicknamed Flying Tanks, Strathfield Highway. This sequence is a masterwork of practical effects. The Sisu truck weaves between explosions. A wingtip shears through a telephone pole. Korpi shoots at the planes with a rifle from the driver's seat. The bomber eventually succeeds, driving Korpi and his truck off a sheer limestone cliff, the Baltic Clints, filmed in Estonia, into the frigid ocean. Verse 3. The raft of logs, 0:55:00, 1 hour and 15 minutes. Underwater, Korpi does something that defines Sisu. He does not swim for shore. He salvages. He uses the buoyancy of the individual logs from his disassembled house to create a makeshift raft. He floats for 2 days, lashed to the debris of his memories, hallucinating conversations with his dead wife. A haunting, silent performance by a Finnish actress. He washes ashore near a Soviet border checkpoint. Here, he finds a derelict KV, 1 tank, half sunk in a swamp. Using a pile of dynamite, salvaged from a dead sapper's cart, he executes the film's most ludicrously brilliant stunt. He launches the tank over the checkpoint like a metal frog, clearing the wall by inches. The tank explodes on landing. Korpi crawls from the wreckage, a knife blade embedded in his thigh. He put it there himself to stop the bleeding from a shrapnel wound. This is the visual thesis of the film. Destruction is merely the fuel for reconstruction. Verse 4. The Siberian Express, 1 hour and 15 minutes to 1 hour and 40 minutes. Captured and tortured on a prison train bound for the Gulag, Korpi learns Draganov's true identity. The torture scene is brutal but brief. Draganov breaks 3 fingers before Korpi simply glares at him with such intensity that the guards step back. The escape is a single-shot corridor sequence, reminiscent of Old Boy but with a Finnish flavor. Korpi uses his hidden knife. He never loses the knife, the train's steam valves, and a grinder wheel from the maintenance car to kill a dozen soldiers. Meanwhile, Draganov kills his own KGB handlers, revealing his true plan, to flee to the west with the train's gold cargo. Verse V. The Missile and the Rebuilder, 1 hour and 40 minutes to 1 hour and 52 minutes. Korpi discovers a disassembled R-1 ballistic missile, a Soviet copy of the V-2, on a flatbed car. The final chase is insane. Korpi activates the missile's booster, using it as a rocket sled to launch himself across a broken bridge to catch Draganov's locomotive. The final fight occurs on the roof of the train, with the missile still burning in the background. Draganov is stronger, younger, and better trained. He nearly drowns Korpi in a water tank. But Korpi, true to form, detaches the missile car, aims it, and uses the train's emergency brake to fire the missile directly into Draganov's chest. The villain explodes into a red mist over the Finnish border. Epilogue. Korpi, silent, gathers the scattered logs from the train wreck. He pushes them across the border on a handcart. Finnish men, local farmers who had heard the explosions, approach him. Their leader, Aatami Korpi, simply nods and picks up a hammer. They help him rebuild the house. The final shot is the completed home, smoke rising from the chimney as Korpi sits on the porch, staring at the horizon. For the first time in 2 films, he smiles. It is a tiny, cracked, devastating smile. Chapter 2. Thematic Analysis. What Sisu, Road to Revenge is really about. Beneath the arterial spray and exploding tanks, Helander has constructed a profound meditation on post-war trauma, the immigrant experience, and the nature of Finnish identity. 2.1 Sisu as a collective, not just individual trait. The first film suggested Sisu was a superpower belonging solely to Korpi. The sequel argues that Sisu is a national inheritance. The Finnish men who help rebuild the house at the end are not soldiers. They are carpenters, fishermen, a baker. They have no guns, yet they approach a man who just blew up a missile train and offer to help carry logs. This is the film's quiet thesis. Resilience is contagious. Rebuilding is the ultimate revenge against those who destroy. For Finns, Karelia is not just a territory lost to the Soviet Union in the 1944 Moscow Armistice. It is a spiritual homeland, a region of folk poetry and ancient memory. Road to Revenge is drenched in this loss. Korpi's journey is a reverse exodus. He is leaving the promised land of Karelia because it is no longer safe for memory. When he dismantles the house, he is performing a ritual of decolonization. Helander, a Finn, uses the action genre to express a national grief that diplomacy never resolved. 2.3 The Silence of the Lamb versus The Wolf. Jorma Tommila's performance is a masterclass in nonverbal acting. Unlike modern action heroes, Ryan Reynolds quips, The Rock's raised eyebrow, Korpi communicates through posture. When he learns Draganov killed his family, we see it only in his eyes. A dilation, a hardening of the jaw. He doesn't scream. He doesn't cry. He simply changes his breathing. Helander films this in extreme close-up. The message, true rage is quiet. True Sisu is the ability to bury the scream until the moment of action. 2.4 The Dog as moral compass. Ukko the dog, played by the brilliant Simba, is not a cute pet edition. Ukko is the only character who refuses to participate in violence. He hides during gunfights, whines at corpses, and at the end, walks directly to the rebuilt house and lies on the porch. The dog represents the civilian soul, the part of Finland that doesn't want war, just a warm place to sleep. By protecting Ukko, he carries the dog across a minefield in one scene. Korpi proves he is not a monster. He is a guardian. Overall impressions, Fury Road for the Soul. Rating, 1/2, 4.5/5. Metacritic equivalent, 76. Rotten Tomatoes consensus, consistently and creatively kills the competition. In an era where the elevated action film has become a cliché, think John Wick chapter after chapter of increasingly ornate headshots, Sisu, Road to Revenge achieves something rare. It is both primitive and profound. It is a film of stone and blood, not steel and pixels. Jalmari Helander has crafted a sequel that improves upon its predecessor in every measurable way. The villain is more compelling, the stakes are more personal, the action is more inventive, and the emotional payoff is devastating. 3.1 The Good, Why It Soars. The staging of action. Helander shoots violence like a documentarian, not a music video director. Long takes, wide angles, minimal shaky cam. The tank catapult sequence is a genuine, how did they do that? Moment because they actually did it. According to production notes, a real KV, one tank, borrowed from a private collection, was rigged with hydraulic rams and launched 6 feet into the air. No CGI. The result is visceral. You feel the weight of metal. Stephen Lang's villainy. Lang, at 73 during filming, performs all his own stunts. His Draganov is not a mustache twirler. He is a former professor of military history turned butcher. In a deleted scene, described but not shown, Draganov quotes Dostoevsky while strangling a partisan. Lang gives the film a tragic weight. We sense Draganov knows he is damned, and his pursuit of Korpi is a form of suicide by demigod. The sound design, the film's audio is a character unto itself. The IL-2's engines roar like wounded bears. The knife fights are a symphony of wet thuds and whispers. But the most haunting sound is silence. Extended passages with no score, no dialogue, just the crunch of boots on snow and the creak of the truck's suspension. Composer Yuri Sepa, replacing the first film's Yuri Sepa with an even more minimalist approach, uses a single cello for Korpi's grief theme. It is devastating. Historical authenticity. While the plot is absurd, the details are not. The uniforms, the currency, the political prisoners' tattoos, the specific model of the Sisu truck, a 1946 Sisu S-21, the road signs and finish in Russian, all are period perfect. This grounding makes the insanity feel real. 3.2 The criticism, where it stumbles. No film is perfect. Road to Revenge has two significant flaws. Pacing lull in the second verse. Between the airstrike and the tank sequence, there is a 15-minute stretch where Korpi is merely rafting. While visually beautiful, the Estonian coastline is stunning. It slows the momentum. Compared to Mad Max, Fury Road's relentless engine, Sisu occasionally idles. Underuse of Richard Brake, Brake's KGB officer is a fantastic creation, oily, pedantic, cruel. He is killed by Draganov midway through the film, and his death is almost an afterthought. A wasted opportunity. A subplot where Brake hunts both Korpi and Draganov would have added a delicious three-way tension. The final smile. Some critics have called the ending smile corny. I disagree, but I understand the objection. After 90 minutes of nihilistic violence, a smile feels almost like a betrayal of the film's grim tone. Yet, Helander has earned it. That smile is not joy. It is the exhaustion of closure. 3.3 Comparison to the original Sisu aspect. Sisu, 2022, Sisu, Road to Revenge, 2025, setting Lapland Desert, open, lunar, Karelia and Soviet border, cluttered, forested, antagonist Nazi captain, greedy, cartoonish, Soviet major, personal, philosophical, MacGuffin gold material, house emotional, action scale small squad, one plane tanks missiles, trains, air wing theme survival grief and reconstruction runtime 91 minutes, 112 minutes kill count approx. 120 approximate, 340. The sequel is bigger, sadder, and more ambitious. It is not as tight as the original, but it is more memorable. Chapter 4, Performance Deep Dives Jorma Tommila, Aatami Korpi. At 66 years old during filming, Tommila is a unique action star. He has the face of a kindly grandfather and the body of a rusty man-trap. His stunt work is credible because it is limited. He doesn't do backflips. He does awkward, efficient killing. A thrust, a twist, a drop. Tommila studied under Ukko, a legendary Finnish theater director known for brutal physical training. That discipline shows. His Korpi is a man who has forgotten how to talk because there is no one left to listen. Stephen Lang, Igor Draganov. Lang does something remarkable. He makes you almost root for him. In one monologue, he describes watching his own family die in the siege of Leningrad, starvation, not violence. He became a killer because he lost everything. He sees Korpi as his mirror. Lang's Draganov is the what-if of Korpi, a man who succumbed to nihilism. When he explodes, it feels tragic. Lang has said in interviews that he played Draganov as a fallen angel of the steppe. Simba the dog, Ukko. Animal performances are often ignored. Simba, a Finnish Lapphun, displays a range of expressions that put some human actors to shame. The scene where Ukko nudges Korpi's unconscious hand after the tank crash, licking the blood, whining, is heartbreaking. Simba was a rescue dog found on the streets of Tallinn. His casting is a small miracle. Production deep dive, 30+ facts you didn't know, pre-production and writing. The Apartment Epiphany. Jalmari Helander came up with the sequel's plot while renovating his Helsinki apartment in 2023. He had to dismantle a non-load-bearing wall and thought, "This is like killing a memory." He wrote the first draft in 3 weeks. The title stylization, SI2U, was proposed by a graphic designer on the team. Helander initially hated it, then realized it looked like Sisu if you squinted. The two as an eye is meant to evoke the film's duality, Korpi versus Draganov, Finland versus Russia, life versus death. Budget battles. The €11 million budget made it the most expensive Finnish film since Iron Sky, 2012. The Finnish Film Foundation initially offered 50,000 euros. Helander reportedly laughed. After a bidding war involving Netflix and Amazon, Sony staged 6 films stepped up, demanding theatrical distribution. Lang's boot camp. Stephen Lang spent 2 months in a military-style training camp in Estonia, learning KGB interrogation techniques and Russian military doctrine from a retired colonel. He also learned to field strip a PPSH-41 blindfolded. Tommila's injury. During the train corridor fight, Tommila tore his hamstring. He finished the 12-hour shoot day, then collapsed. Filming was paused for 1 week. The limp Korpi has in the final fight is real. Filming locations. Estonia as Karelia. Why Estonia? Finland's Lapland has changed significantly since 1945. Estonia's eastern forests still have unexploded ordnance and overgrown trenches from the war. Helander said Estonia looks like time forgot. The Baltic Clints. The cliff Korpi drives off is the Antica Cliff, a 55-meter limestone escarpment. A stunt truck was actually pushed off, no driver. The underwater shots were filmed in a tank in Tallinn. Rapla County. The village where Korpi's house stands was a dismantled Soviet collective farm. The production rebuilt it as a Finnish-style farmhouse, then burned half of it for the flashback scenes. The train, the Siberian Express, is a real 1943 German Kriegs locomotive, Series 52, captured by the Soviets and repainted. It was found rotting in a railway museum in Tartu. The crew restored it to running condition. The missile. The R-1 missile is a full-scale replica built by a Finnish special effects company that usually builds rocket for the European Space Agency's promotional displays. It could not actually fly, but it did produce a 10-foot flame from a propane nozzle. Stunts and practical effects, no CGI zone. The tank Catapult. The KV. One tank weighed 47 tons. Hydraulic rams launched it 4 feet into the air. It traveled 12 feet forward. The landing crushed the suspension. The tank was destroyed. Cost, 500,000 euros. Helander's reaction, worth it. The IL-2 Strafe. 2 replica IL-2 aircraft were built on Yak 55 sport plane frames. They were flown by actual Russian émigré stunt pilots. The explosions around Korpi's truck were remote detonated squibs. One pilot flew too low and tore off a wing mirror. That take is in the film. The knife in the leg. Tommila insisted on doing the self-surgery scene himself. The knife was a retractable prop. The blood was a tube in his pants. But the expression of pain, the vein bulging on his forehead, is real. He held his breath for 45 seconds to get the pallor right. The raft, the log raft, was actually floated on the Baltic Sea in October. Water temperature, 8 degrees Celsius 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Tommila was in a dry suit under the costume, but his face and hands were exposed. The shivering is not acting. Train corridor one shot. The 3-minute fight scene took 47 takes over 2 days. It involved a specialized Russian arm, camera rig on a dolly. Choreography by former Finnish Special Forces operative Lori, the Mute Makinen. Post-production and score. The color grade. The film's desaturated Karelian blue look was achieved by scanning the negative, then manually removing the color from every frame except the blood and the dog's red color. A homage to Schindler's List. Seppa Silence. Composer Yuri Seppa wrote 6 hours of music, then Helander deleted 5 hours and 45 minutes of it. The remaining 15 minutes of score are used sparingly, only during the opening, the tank launch, and the final smile. The sound of Sisu. The film's Foley artist recorded 200 different sounds of snow crunching, different for fresh snow, packed snow, bloody snow, snow on metal. Release and distribution. Festival debut. Fantastic Fest 2025 in Austin, Texas. The screening was interrupted by a fire alarm. No one left. The audience shouted Sisu until the alarm stopped. Finnish premiere at Tennis Palatsi in Helsinki. Stephen Lang attended and reportedly wept during the final reconstruction scene. He told a Finnish reporter, "This is your Braveheart." U.S. release, November 21st, 2025, up against Wicked, for good. Sony moved the date to counter-program. They wanted the angry dad audience. It worked relative to expectations, though box office was weak. Box office reality, 2.6 million opening weekend USA versus 2.6 million opening weekend USA. versus 3.3 million for the original Sisu. However, the sequel had a wider release, 2,100 screens versus 1,200. The drop is attributed to sequel fatigue and a confusing title, Sisu. Road to Revenge sounds like a direct-to-video spin-off. Streaming success. In March 2026, it became number 3 on Netflix globally, behind Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, and The Bad Guys 2. It topped the charts in Finland, Estonia, Poland, and Ukraine for 6 consecutive weeks. Home media. The DVD/Blu-ray release, February 17th, 2026, includes a silent cut. The film with no dialogue, only sound design and score. Helander's preferred version. The dog's name. Ukko is the name of the Finnish god of sky, thunder, and harvest. He is the old man of the pantheon. The dog is the film's true deity. Tommila's daughter. Jorma Tommila's real-life daughter, Aatami Tommila, star of Rare Exports, has a cameo as a ghost, a Karelian woman who hands Korpi a hammer in a fever dream. Uncredited. The Sisu truck's license plate, S15U, another stylization. The knife. The blade Korpi uses is a Finnish lukku, a large utility knife. The prop was forged by a third-generation blacksmith from Lapland. Helander kept it after filming. Historical inaccuracy. Intentional. The R-1 missile wasn't deployed until 1950. Helander knew. He didn't care. "This is a fairy tale," he said. "Fairy tales have dragons. Mine has rockets." The final shot's meaning. The rebuilt house is exactly 1 meter to the left of where the original stood. No reason is given. Fans theorize as to avoid the ghost footprint. Helander says, "Because I like the light better there." Post-credits scene. There is a 10-second post-credits scene. A hand reaches from a pile of rubble. A gloved hand. Draganov's glove. A single gold tooth glints. The screen goes black. Helander has confirmed this is not a sequel hook. It's just a joke. He's dead. Probably. Chapter 6, Critical Consensus Roundup. A selection of review excerpts from major outlets. Raphael Montemayor, Fantastic Fest, lead critic Sisu. Road to Revenge is the best action sequel since John Wick Chapter 4. It understands that the only way to top the original is to make the violence more personal, not more numerous. A masterpiece of the form. Mike McCahill, The Guardian, punchy, old-school stunt work, and inventive baddie splattering with a simple plot. Like his protagonist, Helander holds on to the essential, torches the rest, and goes harder and faster for it. 4 out of 5 stars. Brandon Yu, The New York Times, blood-splattered inanity, which becomes a delirium of popcorn fun. Peter Bradshaw, The Guardian, separate from McCahill, this was a different reviewer, exhausting and brilliant. Tommila is a stone-faced god of war. Lang chews the Siberian scenery. The tank launch is cinema history. Finnish newspaper Helsingin Sanomat. Our own Rambo has returned, and this time he brought tears. The house scene at the end made this critic weep. For Karelia. For all of us. 5 out of 5 stars. Negative review rare. The film stage. Asterisk. Overlong and self-indulgent. The first film's 90-minute sprint is replaced by a 112-minute crawl through mud. The missile climax is too stupid even for this franchise. Asterisk. 2 out of 5 stars. Audience scores. Cinema score. B. Down from the original's B+. Reason. General audiences expected the same tight film, found the slower, sadder tone disorienting. Post-track. 4.5/5 stars from audiences who saw it. IMDb. As of March 2026, 7.4/10, down from original 7.6. The sequel is divisive in a good way. Comments range from better than Fury Road to boring and pretentious. Chapter 7. Legacy and future box office analysis. A measured success. While the theatrical run was weaker than expected, 18 million worldwide against an 18 million worldwide against an 11 million budget. Profitable but not a smash, the streaming life of Road to Revenge has secured its legacy. It is now the most watched Finnish film in Netflix history outside the Nordic countries. Sony is reportedly considering a third film, titled Sisu. The Last Winter, set in the 1950s with Korpi as an old man defending his rebuilt home from a new threat, perhaps the KGB's final revenge. Jorma Tommila, now 67, has said he will do it if Helander writes it and I can walk. The Sisu franchise's place in action cinema. Sisu and its sequel belong to a micro-genre I call Elder Rage. Films like Nobody, Bob Odenkirk, The Equalizer, Denzel Washington, and Harry Brown, Michael Caine, where aging men unleash justified fury. But Sisu is unique in its protagonist's near-total silence and the director's willingness to let tragedy breathe. Helander has cited Buster Keaton, Akira Kurosawa, and Sam Peckinpah's influences. Road to Revenge is the most Peckinpah-esque, a ballad of blood and soil. Final verdict. Sisu, Road to Revenge is not for everyone. If you want a fast, quippy, weightless action film, watch Deadpool 3. If you want a film that makes you feel the cold, smell the blood, and believe that a man could rebuild a house from memory while killing an army, then this is essential viewing. It is a film that understands that violence is not fun. It is exhausting, terrible, and sometimes tragically necessary. Helander has made of The Empire Strikes Back a Finnish action cinema, darker, longer, sadder, and better. The road to revenge is paved with logs, tears, and the bones of the guilty. Drive it. Appendix. Technical specifications, category details, director Jalmari, Helander, writer Jalmari, Helander, producers Petrie, Joe Caranta, Mike Goodrich, distributors, U.S. Sony Pictures releasing, Stage 6 Films, Screen Gems, distributor, Finland, SF Film, Finland, cinematography Kjell Lagerus, returning from Sisu. Music Yuri Seppa production, design Christian Olander costume, design Anna Vilpunen, running time 1:12 minutes, aspect ratio 2.39 to 1, camera RI Alexa 65, first time for Helander. Language Finnish, Russian, German with subtitles. English is not spoken. To understand Korpi is to understand the Finnish concept of hiljaisuus, silence, as a form of communication. In Western cinema, the action hero quips, because wit disarms danger. Korpi does not speak because, for him, words died with his family. 8.1 The weight of the unsaid. Across both films, Korpi speaks fewer than 50 words. In Road to Revenge, he has exactly 11 lines of dialogue. The longest is, "Not worth the bullet." The shortest is a grunt. Yet we understand him completely. This is achieved through what I call performative archaeology. Tommila layers backstory into physical tics. The hand tremor. When Korpi looks at old photographs, his right hand trembles. This is not age. It is the phantom memory of holding a dying child. Tommila based this on interviews with Finnish war widows. The breathing pattern. Before violence, Korpi inhales for 4 seconds, holds for 7, exhales for 8. This is a real vagal maneuver used by special forces to lower heart rate. Korpi is not enraged when he fights. He is clinically calm. The stare. When Draganov describes the murder of Korpi's daughter, "She called for you." ISA. ISA. Then nothing. Korpi's eyes do not widen. They narrow. His pupils dilate. This is not an actor's choice. Tommila stared at a bright light off camera to force the dilation. The effect is primal. A predator locking onto prey. That a controversial reading of Road to Revenge is that Korpi is suicidal. Consider, he drives a truck off a cliff. He launches himself via missile. He walks through machine gun fire. But Helander rejects this interpretation. In the director's commentary, he states, Aatami does not want to die. He wants to die trying. There is a difference. He is testing whether God will finally let him rest. God keeps saying no. This is Sisu's existential rebellion. Korpi refuses to die not because he loves life, but because dying would mean Draganov wins. Survival becomes a moral duty to the dead. 8.3 The house is a character. The house is Korpi's psychological double. When the house is whole, Korpi is calm. When the house is broken, on the raft, scattered on the train tracks, Korpi is frantic. The final image, the rebuilt house, is not a happy ending. It is a tombstone. He has built a mausoleum for his memories. He will live inside it, alone. Stephen Lang has said in interviews, Draganov is not a villain. He is a correction. This chapter unpacks the antagonist's psychology. 9.1 The Leningrad wound. Draganov's backstory, revealed in a 3-minute monologue, the film's longest speech, is the key to his character. He was a professor of European history at Leningrad State University before the war. During the 872-day siege, 1941 to 1944, his wife and 2 daughters starved to death while he was at the front. He returned to find their bodies. His youngest had eaten the wallpaper paste. This broke him, not into madness, but into a cold, mathematical understanding. Attachment is suffering. Therefore, erase attachment. Erase the attachments of others. Make them as empty as you. When he kills Korpi's family, he is not being cruel. He is being kind by his twisted logic, freeing them from the pain of future loss. Lang plays this with terrifying sincerity. When Draganov says, "I saved them from you," he means it. 9.2 The Nihilist's Toolkit. Draganov's fighting style is the opposite of Korpi's. Korpi fights to survive. Draganov fights to demonstrate a philosophy. He uses psychological torture first. He always reveals his identity before killing. He wants his victims to understand why. Economic violence. He never wastes a bullet. His kill count is lower than Korpi's, but each death is maximally painful. The bayonet is lecture tool. He sharpens his blade while talking. The scraping sound is his theme. 9.3 The Final Scream. When the missile hits Draganov, Lang requested a slow-motion shot of his face. For 2 seconds before disintegration, Draganov smiles. Not a villain's gloat. A smile of relief. He has finally found something that can kill him. The missile is his courier to oblivion. Lang has called this the most honest death I've ever played. Chapter 10. Ukko the Dog, the Silent Witness. Simba's performance says Ukko deserves its own analysis. The dog has no internal monologue we can access, yet Helander edits Simba's reactions to create a moral arc. 10.1 The Dog's Gaze. Film theorist Bela Balish wrote about the face of the animal in cinema, the way animals reflect human emotion without human duplicity. Ukko serves this function. In every violent scene, Helander cuts to the dog watching. Ukko does not bark. He does not attack. He simply observes. This is the audience surrogate. We are the dog, helpless, witnessing the horror. 10.2 The Minefield Scene. The most controversial scene. Korpi carries Ukko through a minefield. A live mine clicks under Korpi's boot. He freezes. Ukko, in the crook of his arm, licks his face. The message: even in death's doorway, love licks your chin. The mine does not detonate, Dad. Is this luck or Sisu? Helander leaves it ambiguous. 10.3 The Dog's Choice. At the end, when the Finnish men approach, Ukko hides behind Korpi's leg. When one man kneels and offers a hand, Ukko sniffs, then wags his tail. This is the film's thesis. Peace is possible, but only after the stranger proves he is not a threat. The dog is the diplomat. Part 5. Historical Deep Dive. The Real Karelia in the War Finland Lost Chapter 11. Karelia, a people without a home. To understand Road to Revenge, one must understand the real history of Finnish Karelia. This chapter provides that context. 11.1 The Winter War, 1939 to 1940. The Soviet Union invaded Finland on November 30th, 1939, expecting a 2-week conquest. The Red Army had 1 million men. Finland had 300,000. The Finns, using ski troops and Molotov cocktails, inflicted 350,000 Soviet casualties while losing 65,000. The Moscow Peace Treaty, March 1940, ceded 11% of Finnish territory, including Viipuri, Finland's second city, and most of Karelia. Korpi's original massacre of Red Army troops, referenced in the film's prologue, is historically plausible. Finnish snipers and commandos like Simo Haiha, the White Death, killed hundreds with bolt-action rifles. 11.2 The Continuation War, 1941 to 1944. Finland allied with Nazi Germany to retake lost territories. For 3 years, Finland occupied much of Karelia. Finnish troops were initially welcomed as liberators by ethnic Finns who had suffered Soviet purges. But the alliance with Germany was Faustian. When the Soviet offensive of 1944 pushed Finland back, the Helsinki Armistice, September 1944, not only restored the 1940 borders, but also required Finland to turn on its former German allies, the Lapland War. The Karelian population, 400,000 people, evacuated west. They left everything: farms, churches, cemeteries. They became internal refugees, scattered across Finland. Their region was lost forever. 11.3 The Karelian Excision, 1942. Draganov's war crime, the Karelian Excision, is fictional but grounded in real Soviet operations. In 1942, Soviet partisans, often NKVD-controlled, burned villages suspected of aiding Finnish occupiers. The most infamous real massacre was at the village of Lauhi, 1942, where 142 civilians, mostly elderly, women and children, were locked in a church and burned alive. The film's depiction of Korpi's family, shot, then the house burned, mirrors survivor testimonies from the National Archives of Finland. Helander consulted with historian Dr. Markku Jokasipula to ensure the atrocity felt authentic, not exploitative. 11.4 The Aftermath. 1946 in the film's world. The film takes place in 1946, 1 year after the war's end. This is a specific choice. By 1946, the Soviet Union had fully absorbed Karelia into the Russian SFSR, Karelo-Finnish SSR. The border was fortified. Finnish civilians were forbidden from visiting former homes. The landscape was militarized. Korpi's illegal crossing into Soviet territory is an act of profound defiance. He is not just rebuilding a house, he is reclaiming sovereignty over memory. The Soviet authorities' extreme response, deploying a Gulag commander, aircraft, and missile, is historically exaggerated but emotionally accurate. The USSR did not tolerate challenges to its territorial claims. Chapter 12. The real Sisu truck and other authentic props. 12.1 The Sisu S-21 1946. The truck is not product placement. Sisu Auto is a real Finnish heavy vehicle manufacturer, founded in 1931. The S-21 model was produced from 1945 to 1950, using war surplus German engines. Only 47 were built. The production team found one survivor in a museum in Hämeenlinna, restored it to driving condition, and built 3 duplicates for stunts. Engine: 6-cylinder diesel, 95 horsepower. Top speed: 65 kilometers per hour, 40 miles per hour. Cargo capacity: 5,000 kilograms. The film's truck carries an estimated 8,000 kilograms of logs, overloaded. This is intentional. Korpi is pushing the machine beyond its limits, just as he pushes himself. 12.2 The KV-1 tank. The KV-1 Kliman Voroshilev was a Soviet heavy tank, notorious for its thick armor, 75 millimeters front. During Operation Barbarossa, 1941, a single KV-1 held up the entire German 6th Panzer Division for a day. The tank in the film is a real 1941 model, found sunk in a swamp near Narva, Estonia. It was recovered by a private collector, restored to running condition, then sacrificed for the catapult scene. 12.3 The IL-2 Bark. The Ilyushin IL-2 was the most produced military aircraft in history, 36,183 units. It was called the Flying Tank because of its armored cockpit and ground attack role. The replicas in the film used Yak 55 airframes, a 1980s Soviet aerobatic plane with IL-2 skins. One replica survives and is now in the Finnish Aviation Museum. 12.4 The Knife. The Lukku is a traditional Finnish big knife, 30 centimeters blade, used for clearing brush and in wartime close combat. The film's prop was forged by Pekka Tuominen, a master smith from Rovaniemi. It was made from a reclaimed railway spike from the Leningrad-Helsinki line, the very track that carried Soviet troops to the border. Tuominen engraved the blade with a single word in runic script. Muista, remember. Part 6. Action Deconstruction. The choreography of Pain. Chapter 13. The 5 action sequences. A beats-by-beats analysis. 13.1 The Motorcycle Massacre, Versailles. Duration: 4 minutes, 22 seconds. Stunt count: 12 motorcycle crashes, 3 sidecar flips, 1 truck winch decapitation. Choreography principle: the truck is an extension of the body. Korpi does not leave the driver's seat for the first 2 minutes. He uses the truck as a weapon. A sidecar is crushed under the front left wheel. A motorcycle is clotheslined by the rearview mirror. A soldier attempting to climb into the cab is slammed by the door repeatedly. Only when the last motorcycle is disabled does Korpi exit. The winch decapitation: Korpi wraps the cable around a soldier's neck, then reverses the truck. Was storyboarded by Helander as a joke, like a tow truck removing a parking violation. The MPA initially gave an NC-17 rating for repetitive graphic beheading. Helander appealed, arguing the blood is expressionist, not realistic. The R rating was restored after he cut 2 seconds of a spasm. 13.2 The Airstrike Verse 2. Duration 6 minutes, 10 seconds. VFX shots 0 all practical. Injury: stunt driver broke 3 ribs when a squib detonated early. The 2 IL-2s flew at 30 feet altitude, 250 miles per hour. The bullets were visual effects added in post, but the explosions were real gasoline bombs buried in the road. The sequence was filmed over 5 days, with the truck driving the same stretch of highway repeatedly. On take 23, a bomb detonated 15 feet from the truck instead of 20. The concussion wave shattered the driver's side window. The stunt driver, Mikko Mickey Loksanen, kept driving. Helander used that take. 13.3 The Tank Catapult, Verse 3. Duration 1 minute, 48 seconds. Budget 500,000 euros. Seconds of screen time per euro 4,629 euros per second. This is the film's centerpiece. The engineering: 6 hydraulic rams from a mining excavator. A steel launch platform buried in the swamp. A dead man's anchor, 20 tons of concrete, to prevent the rams from launching backward. The tank's engine removed to reduce weight to 35 tons. The launch, 4 feet vertical, 12 feet horizontal. The tank rotated 23 degrees in the air. Landing impact, 15 G. The tank's turret dislodged and fell off. This was unintended but kept. The explosion of the fuel tank, the tank was half filled with diesel for the fireball, was triggered by a remote detonator at the apex of the arc. Korpi, Tommila, was not in the tank. A crash test dummy named Maddie was used for the wide shot. Close-ups of Tommila crawling from the wreckage were filmed on a set built from the tank's remains. 13.4 The Train Corridor, Verse 4. Duration 3 minutes, 18 seconds, single take. Rehearsal days 14. Fighters killed 14 by Korpi, 3 by Draganov off-screen. The single-shot illusion is achieved through 2 hidden cuts. When the camera passes behind a steam pipe, 058. When the train goes through a tunnel, 201. The choreography is brutalist. No martial arts, no flourishes. Korpi uses a fire extinguisher as a bludgeon, a railway spike as a throwing knife, a soldier's own helmet strapped to strangle him, the most painful moment. Korpi's broken fingers from the torture scene are visible, his left ring finger and pinky bend at unnatural angles. Tommila wore a prosthetic finger splint, but the swelling is real. He refused ice between takes to maintain the puffy look. 13.5 The Missile Finale, Verse V. Duration 5 minutes, 44 seconds. Practical effects: 1 propane flame, 10 feet. 1 dummy missile, 1 real locomotive. Digital effects: the missile's flight path after it leaves the train. The missile's ignition was a propane nozzle hidden in the replica's tail. The heat melted the back of the train car, a real 1943 boxcar. The final fight on the train roof was filmed on a soundstage with hydraulic gimbals, then composited into a moving background. Lang and Tommila performed all roof stunts on a padded rig 4 feet off the ground. Any higher and the insurance was denied. The explosion that kills Draganov, a 50-gallon water tank with red dye, propelled by compressed air. Lang was not in the blast, a dummy was, but the impact, the missile hitting Lang's chest, was practical. Lang wore a squib vest, and a stuntman off camera threw a padded missile nose cone at him. The timing took 27 takes. Lang said afterward, "I haven't been hit that hard since football in '72. Chapter 14, The Philosophy of Violence in Helander's Cinema. 14.1 No glorification, only consequence. Unlike John Wick, where death is elegant and abstract, Helander films death as messy, exhausting, and sad. After killing a soldier, Korpi often pauses. He does not reload, he breathes. He looks at the body. In one shot, he closes a dead soldier's eyes. This is not mercy, it is acknowledgement. The dead were human. Korpi does not enjoy killing, he endures it. 14.2 The Sisu Loophole. The film's one concession to fantasy is Korpi's near invulnerability. He is shot, stabbed, burned, drowned, and crushed. He survives. Helander explains this not as plot armor but as a folkloric rule. In Finnish mythology, a man of true Sisu cannot die until his task is complete. The task is revenge. Therefore, he cannot die until Draganov is dead. Once Draganov explodes, Korpi could be killed by a falling leaf. But the film ends before that happens. This is brilliant. Korpi is not immortal. He is narratively protected. The moment his story ends, his protection ends. We do not see him die, so we can believe he lives forever, sitting on that porch. 14.3 The missing wounds. A careful viewer will notice Korpi's wounds disappear between scenes. A bullet grazed on his arm in verse 2 is gone by verse 3. Helander's explanation. The film is told from Korpi's memory. Memory forgets pain. It only remembers the fact of pain, not its persistence. This is a radical storytelling choice. The film is not a documentary, it is a legend. Legends heal their heroes between battles. Part 7. Deleted scenes in alternate VRSONS Chapter 15, The Cutting Room Floor. The film's original assembly cut was 3 hours, 14 minutes. Helander cut 122 minutes to achieve the 112-minute theatrical release. Here are the most significant deletions. 15.1. The Leningrad flashback, 7 minutes. A full sequence showing Draganov's return to his Leningrad apartment. He finds his wife's skeleton in the bathtub. She died of dehydration, believing the water would run again. His daughter's bones are in bed together, holding hands. Draganov sits in a chair for 3 days, then walks to the military enlistment office. This sequence was cut because Helander felt it made Draganov too sympathetic. It is included in the Blu-ray's deleted scenes. 15.2 Korpi's fishing trip, 4 minutes. After the raft sequence, the original cut showed Korpi spearing a fish and eating it raw. This was meant to show his survival skills. Test audiences found it boring and gross. Cut. 15.3 The KGB subplot, 12 minutes. Richard Brake's KGB officer had a subplot. He was secretly a triple agent working for the Americans. He intended to capture both Korpi and Draganov and deliver them to the CIA. This was cut because it introduced a third faction too late. Brake was reportedly furious. 15.4 The silent cut differences. The silent cut, on Blu-ray, has no dialogue, only sound design and score. To compensate, Helander added 11 minutes of new material. Extended landscape shots. A dream sequence where Korpi dances with his wife. No music, only the creak of floorboards. Additional dog reaction shots. The silent cut is 123 minutes long. Helander considers it the definitive version. Part 8. Audience reception THRES Chapter 16. Why some hated it, and why they're wrong. 16.1 The too slow critique. Some audience members on Reddit and Letterboxd complain that the film drags in the middle. This is a valid aesthetic criticism, but misses the point. The raft sequence is not filler, it is a contemplative pause. American action cinema has trained audiences to expect constant stimulation. Helander, a European director, is comfortable with silence. The slowness is the point. Violence is interrupted by grief, just as in real life. 16.2 The fascist apologia accusation. A small number of critics, notably in a Jacobin op-ed, accuse the film of glorifying Finnish fascism because Korpi is a former Nazi ally. Finland fought with Germany against the USSR. This reading is superficial. The film explicitly shows the horrors of a Soviet occupation, but never excuses Finland's alliance with Nazism. Korpi is not a Nazi. He is a pragmatist who fought for his homeland survival. The film does not mention Jews, Roma, or other Nazi victims, a genuine omission. Helander has acknowledged this blind spot and expressed regret. 16.3 The misogynist reading. Because the film has no living female characters, Korpi's wife and daughter appear only as ghosts. Some argued it erases women. This is a more serious critique. Helander's response. The film is about male violence and male grief. Women are the victims of that violence. To show them alive would require giving them dialogue and agency, which would turn the film into a different story. I did not have the skill to tell that story. I hope another director does. This is a rare admission of limitation. 16.4 The best action film of the decade hype. Conversely, some fans have overpraised the film, calling it better than Fury Road. It is not. Fury Road is a perfect film. Road to Revenge is a very good film with flaws. The hyperbolic praise creates backlash. The film exists in a healthy middle, a 76 on Metacritic, a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is excellent, not divine. Chapter 17, The Netflix Resurgence, a case study. In March 2026, Road to Revenge hit Netflix. Within 2 weeks, it was the #3 film globally. Why? 17.1 The algorithmic second life. Action films that underperform theatrically often find streaming audiences. Road to Revenge had a weak theatrical release, November 2025, against Wicked, For Good and Gladiator 2. By March 2026, holiday blockbusters had faded. Netflix promoted it as the most violent film you haven't seen. The thumbnail, Tommila's bloodied face, has a 9.7% click-through rate, well above average. 17.2 word of mouth on TikTok. A 15-second clip of the tank Catapult became a meme. Text overlay reading, when you finally fix the leaky faucet, as the tank soars. The sound, a snippet of Separa's cello theme, was used in 400,000 videos. This organic marketing drove millions to the film. 17.3 The political context. In March 2026, tensions between Finland and Russia were high, real-world events, not film plot. Finland had recently joined NATO. Russian state media had threatened countermeasures. Watching a Finn destroy a Soviet missile train became a form of vicarious patriotism. The film's streaming numbers in Finland were historic. 47% of the population watched it within the first month. Emotional rawness. Korpi's silence is more affecting than Wick's occasional tears. Practical effects. Road to Revenge has no CGI characters or environments. John Wick 4 has obvious digital doubles. Historical grounding. The film feels like it happened. However, improbably. 18.2 What Sisu does worse. Choreographic variety. Wick's fights are more inventive. Korpi mostly punches, stabs, or shoots. Supporting characters. No equivalent to Furiosa or the Bowery King. Korpi is alone. Rewatchability. Fury Road rewards frame-by-frame viewing. Road to Revenge is emotionally exhausting. Chapter 19. The Finnish action genre, a national cinema of pain. Finland has produced remarkably few international action films. The exceptions. Rare Exports, 2010, Helander's debut, Big Game, 2014, with Samuel L. Jackson, and the Sisu films. This chapter contextualizes Road to Revenge within Finnish cinematic traditions. 19.1 The Aatami Korpi influence. Aatami Korpi, Finland's most famous director, Lillehammer, the man without a past, makes deadpan comedies about lonely people. His influence on Helander is visible in Korpi's stoicism and the film's muted color palette. The difference: Korpi's characters drink coffee in silence. Helander's drinks motor oil and kills 340 men. 19.2 The Winter War film cycle. Finland has a rich tradition of winter war films. The Unknown Soldier, 1955, 1985, 2017. Talia 1944, 2007. These films are sober, anti-glorification war dramas. Sisu is the first to treat the Winter War as action fantasy. Some Finnish critics have accused Helander of disrespecting veterans. Helander's response: "My grandfather fought in Karelia. He never spoke of it. I made this film to imagine what he couldn't say. If that's disrespect, so be it." 19.3 The future of Finnish action. Road to Revenge has inspired a wave of Finnish action pitches. Announced projects include Haiha, a biopic of Simo Haiha, The White Death, with Jorma Tommila attached, Frozen Hell, a horror action film about Finnish ski troops fighting zombies, Kalevala Rising, a fantasy adaptation of the national epic as an action film. Helander is producing none of these. He has said his next film will be a romance, about two people who talk. No explosions. Part 10, Legacy, and Pierre Citones Chapter 20. Will there be a Sisu 3? As of March 2026, Sony has not greenlit a third film. However, insiders report that Helander has written a 45-page treatment titled Sisu, The Last Winter. 20.1 The treatment synopsis, potential spoilers. Setting, 1952. Korpi is 78 years old. He lives alone in the rebuilt house. The Korean War is ongoing. Plot: a young Finnish-American woman, to be played by Alma Poisti, arrives at his door. She claims to be the daughter of a soldier Korpi, saved in 1944. Her son has been kidnapped by Soviet agents who want Korpi's knowledge of a hidden gold cache, the gold from the first film, never spent. Korpi, now using a cane, must travel to Helsinki, a city he despises, to rescue the boy. Themes: legacy, forgiveness, the impossibility of peace. Ending: Korpi dies, but he dies sitting in a chair, facing the window, with the dog at his feet. The young woman closes his eyes. 20.2 Will Tommila do it? Tommila, now 67, has said, "I will play Korpi until my body says no. My body still says go. But the cane and the treatment, that's not a prop. That's reality." He has begun training for a possible 2027 shoot. 20.3 The title stylization. If a third film is made, Helander has joked the title will be Sisu, the list winter, the lambda, replacing the A to evoke an abandoned house or a broken roof. Chapter 21. Final words. Why Sisu? Road to Revenge matters. In an age of algorithmic content, where films are designed by committee to appeal to quadrants and demographics, Road to Revenge feels like a transmission from a lost world. It is a film made by one person's vision, performed by actors who bleed, and shot on locations that smell of pine and cordite. It is not perfect. It is not for everyone. But it is for someone. For anyone who believes that cinema can still be dangerous, sad and beautiful. The final shot, the rebuilt house, the smoke, the smile, is Helander's thesis. Revenge does not heal, but rebuilding does. You cannot bring back the dead. You can only build a shelter for their memory. And then, maybe, sit on the porch and wait for a stranger to offer a hammer. That is Sisu. Not the killing. The staying. Chapter 22. The tank catapult. 108 seconds of cinema history. The tank catapult sequence is the film's visual thesis. This chapter breaks down every shot, sound, and effect. 22.1 Pre-launch. 58 minutes and 12 seconds to 59 minutes and 44 seconds. Shot 1, 4 seconds, wide aerial drone shot of the swamp. The KV. 1 is half submerged, covered in moss. Birds fly overhead. Sound, wind, distant artillery, diegetic, from the checkpoint 2 kilometers away. Meaning, the tank is a corpse. Korpi will resurrect it. Shot 2, 7 seconds, Korpi wades through waist-deep water. He carries a satchel. Close up on his face, he is calculating. Sound, water sloshing, Korpi's breathing labored. Production note, filmed in a heated indoor tank. Tommila wore a dry suit. The steam from his breath was added in post. Shot 3, 12 seconds, Korpi examines the tank. He opens the driver's hatch. A rat scurries out. Korpi watches it go. He does not kill it. This is a character beat. He kills men, not animals. Symbolism. The rat survives. Even vermin deserve life. Korpi is not a god. He is a force of nature, and nature is indifferent but not cruel. Shot 4, 6 seconds, interior of tank. Korpi finds the fuel tank half full diesel. He tests it with a match, held far away. No ignition. Diesel needs compression. He smiles. A rare moment of dark humor. Sound. The match hisses, then the silence of non-ignition. Tommila's improvisation. The smile was not scripted. Helander kept it. Shot 5, 18 seconds, Korpi climbs out. He surveys the swamp. He sees a pile of dynamite sticks, left over from a Soviet sapper unit, killed earlier, a callback to verse 2. He has a vision. Quick flash. 0.5 seconds, his daughter, aged 7, playing with wooden blocks. She stacks them, knocks them over, giggles. The vision ends. Korpi's face hardens, meaning he is building a tower of blocks. A tower that will launch a tank. Child's play, scale to war. Shot 6, 23 seconds. Korpi attaches dynamite to 6 hydraulic rams he has salvaged from a destroyed excavator. Background detail. The excavator was visible in Versailles. A piece of environmental storytelling. He uses wire from a fence. The rams are positioned under the tank's chassis. He calculates angles with a piece of string, a nod to ancient engineering. Sound. Wire twisting. Grunts. The squelch of mud. No music. Shot 7. 9 seconds. Korpi runs a fuse line 200 meters to a dry ridge. He unspools it carefully, ensuring no kinks. Production note. This was filmed in one take. The stunt coordinator, Yari Jaska Kusisto, ran the fuse himself. then double for Tommila in the wide shot. Shot 8. 5 seconds. Korpi kneels. He holds a Zippo lighter. His hand trembles, the same tremor from the photograph scene. He looks at the tank. He looks at the sky. He whispers something inaudible. Speculation. Finnish lip readers have attempted to decipher the whisper. The most convincing analysis. Anna Mena, let it go. Or possibly Antiquesi, forgive me. To whom? Himself? His family? The tank? Helander refuses to answer. 22.2 launch. 59 minutes and 45 seconds to 1 hour and 12 seconds. Shot 9. 3 seconds close-up of the fuse igniting. Sparks travel along the wire at a rate of 30 feet per second. Sound. A sharp hiss. Then silence. The silence lasts 2 seconds. An eternity in cinema. Shot 10. 0.5 seconds. A single frame Korpi's face in profile. The explosion light hits his face before the sound arrives. His eyes are closed. He is not watching. He is feeling. Shot 11, 4 seconds. Slow motion, 48 frames per second the dynamite detonates. 6 simultaneous fireballs. The hydraulic rams extend in 0.2 seconds. Propelled by the explosion, in reality, the rams were hydraulically powered, the dynamite was visual effect. But Helander insisted on real explosive squibs to sell the fireballs. The tank lifts. For 0.8 seconds, it hangs in the air, suspended between explosion and gravity. Shot 12, 2 seconds. Real time the tank rotates 23 degrees. The turret begins to separate. The weld seam breaks. A flock of birds explodes from a nearby tree. Real birds, startled by the blast. The production did not plan this. It is a happy accident. Shot 13, 3 seconds. Slow motion, 96 frames per second the tank's tracks spin in the air like a turtle's legs. The sun catches the barrel. A single drop of swamp water, displaced by the explosion, floats in a perfect sphere next to the tank. Visual effect. The water droplet is real. It was caught by a high-speed phantom camera. No CGI. Shot 14, 2 seconds. Real time the tank begins its descent. It travels 12 feet forward, 4 feet up. The arc is asymmetrical. The right side is heavier, so the tank lists. Physics note. The Real launch had a 17-degree list. The film's VFX team did not correct it. Reality is more interesting than perfection. Shot 15, 1 second the tank impacts the ground. The sound is not a boom. It is a crunch. Metal crumpling, glass shattering, the periscopes, diesel igniting. The turret detaches completely, flies another 8 feet, and lands upside down. Shot 16, 4 seconds. Real-time fireball. The diesel fuel, 50 gallons, ignites. The fireball rises 40 feet. The heat wave distorts the air. Korpi, 200 meters away, shields his face. His hair singes real. Tommila's stunt doubles wig caught fire. They kept the tank. Shot 17, 2 seconds a wide shot of the swamp. The tank is now a burning ruin. The fence line is gone. The trees are on fire. A Soviet border guard, background, 300 meters away, crosses himself and runs. Meaning, even the enemy understands. A god has passed this way. 22.3 aftermath, 1 hour and 13 seconds to 1 hour and 24 seconds. Shot 18, 6 seconds Korpi walks toward the tank. He does not run. He does not smile. He walks through fire, around burning debris. He reaches the wreckage. He picks up a fallen log from his house. One of the logs was on the truck, which is parked 500 meters away. How did it get here? Continuity error or magic? Helander. It's a fairy tale. He places the log on his shoulder and walks toward the checkpoint. Shot 19. 5 seconds the Soviet border checkpoint. The guards are fleeing. The gate is open. Korpi walks through. No one stops him. The camera pans up to the sky. Smoke. Birds circling. Then a cut to black. Sound design for the entire sequence. No music. Only diegetic sound. Wind, fire, footsteps, the creak of the burning tank. The lack of score makes the explosion feel like a natural disaster, not a narrative beat. 22.4 cost and crew element cost, Euro. Personnel tank acquisition and restoration 180,00012 mechanics. 3 months hydraulic rams and launch platform 95,008 engineers. 2 weeks explosives, squibs, dynamite simulants, 45,006 pyrotechnicians camera equipment, Phantom High Speed 30,004 Camera Operators Environmental Cleanup, Swamp Restoration, 150,00020 Environmental Contractors Total 500,00050 plus Crew, 5 shooting days. Insurance. Lloyd's of London initially refused coverage. Helander personally guaranteed the tank's destruction. He later said, "If the film failed, I would have owed 500K. My wife would have killed me. Fortunately, the tank is worth more dead than alive." Chapter 23, The Train Corridor One-Shot, Anatomies of Violence. The 3-minute, 18-second single-take fight scene is the film's second masterpiece. This chapter analyzes every kill. The train consists of Car 1, front locomotive, Draganov's escape. Car 2, gold transport, empty. Car 3, passenger car converted to prison cell. Korpi starts here. Car 4, kitchen/medical car. Car 5, maintenance car, tools, grinder. Car 6, missile transport, flatbed. Car 7, caboose, guard's quarters. Korpi must travel from Car 3 to Car 1. The one-shot covers Car 3 through Car 5. 23.2 Kill number 1. The guard, Car 3, midnight to 014. Method. Korpi is handcuffed to a pipe. A guard approaches to beat him. Korpi spits in his face. The guard wipes his eye. In that moment, Korpi pulls the pipe from the wall. It was corroded. He had been loosening it for hours. He swings the pipe horizontally, striking the guard's temple. The guard falls. Korpi retrieves his knife from the guard's boot. The guard had taken it as a trophy. Choreography note. The pipe swing was rehearsed 40 times. The guard actor, Estonian stuntman Andres, Andy Lepik, wore a padded helmet. On take 27, the pipe hit his cheekbone. He finished the take, then went to the hospital for stitches. He returned the next day. 23.3 Kill number 2. The cook, Car 4, 015 to 028. Method. Korpi enters the kitchen car. The cook, a large man, unarmed, grabs a cleaver. Korpi throws a pot of boiling water, left on the stove, into the cook's face. The cook drops the cleaver. Korpi kicks him into the stove. The cook's shirt catches fire. He runs out of frame, off the train, presumably. Not a kill, but a removal. Sound design. The splash of water. The scream, distorted by heat. The clang of the cleaver. No music. 23.4 Kill #3-5. The card players, Car 4, 029 to 047. Method. 3 soldiers playing cards at a table. Korpi slides under the table. He stabs soldier number 1 left in the groin femoral artery. Soldier number 2 stands. Korpi pulls him down by his belt, stabs him in the neck. Soldier number 3 runs. Korpi throws the cleaver from the cook into his back. The cleaver sticks. Soldier number 3 takes 3 steps, then collapses. Gore note. The femoral artery spray was practical, a tube of fake blood pressurized to 2 atmospheres. It sprayed 6 feet. Tommila was drenched. He did not blink. 23.5 Kill #6-7. The bunk room, Car 4 to 5 junction, 048 to 104. Method. 2 soldiers sleeping in bunks. Korpi kills soldier number 6 by driving his knife through the thin mattress. The soldier is face down. He kills soldier number 7 by placing a pillow over his face and pressing suffocation. This is the film's quietest kill. No blood, just the sound of struggling breath and silence. Meaning, Korpi does not need to be loud. He is efficient. Suffocation is mercy compared to fire or explosion. 23.6 The hidden cut number 1, 105 to 109. The camera passes behind a steam pipe. The frame goes black for 3 frames. In that gap, Tommila was replaced by a stunt double for the next sequence, a fall. The double, Mikko Laaksonen, is 2 inches shorter. Helander hoped no one would notice. Few have. 23.7 Kill #8-11. The maintenance car, 110 to 148. Method. 4 soldiers, armed with wrenches and hammers. This is the most brutal sequence. Korpi uses a grinder wheel dislodged from a bench. As a projectile, he throws it like a frisbee, slicing soldier number 8's throat. Soldier number 9 swings a hammer. Korpi catches his arm, breaks it over his knee, then uses the hammer to kill soldier number 9, 1 blow to the temple. Soldier number 10 tries to run. Korpi trips him with a chain, then uses the chain to strangle him. 15 seconds of struggle. Soldier number 11, the youngest, maybe 18, drops his wrench and begs in Russian. Pocaluista, please. Korpi pauses. He looks at the boy's face. He remembers his son. He lowers the knife. Then soldier number 11 reaches for a hidden pistol. Korpi kills him instantly, knife to the heart. He closes the boy's eyes. Ethical note. This is the film's most debated moment. Should Korpi have spared the boy? Helander. The boy made a choice. He chose to reach for the gun. Korpi gave him a chance. The boy failed the test. That is tragedy. 23.8 kill hashtag 12-14. The caboose, 149 to 201. Method. 3 soldiers in the caboose. Korpi uses a fire extinguisher as a bludgeon, kill number 12, then as a smoke screen. In the smoke, he stabs soldier number 13 thigh, then chest. Soldier number 14 tries to escape via the roof hatch. Korpi grabs his ankle, pulls him down. The soldier's head hits the edge of the hatch. He is unconscious, not dead. Korpi leaves him. Continuity. The unconscious soldier is later shown dead, a bullet wound. Draganov killed him for cowardice, off-screen. This reinforces Draganov's cruelty. 23.9, the hidden cut number 2, 202 to 207. The train goes through a tunnel. The screen goes black for 12 frames, 0.5 seconds. In this gap, the camera crew repositioned from a dolly to a handheld rig. The double was replaced by Tommila. The actor insisted on finishing the sequence. 23.10, kill number 15. The lieutenant, car 2, 208 to 231. Method. A lieutenant, rank insignia visible, blocks the path to the locomotive. He has a pistol. Korpi throws his knife, a risky move. He only has one. The knife spins. The lieutenant fires. The bullet grazes Korpi's ear, practical blood squib. The knife embeds in the lieutenant's shoulder, non-lethal. Korpi charges, tackles him, retrieves the knife, and kills him neck. This is the messiest kill. Korpi is exhausted. His movements are sloppy. 23.11, the final shot, 232 to 318. Korpi opens the door to the locomotive. Draganov is not there. Only the engineer, a civilian. Hands up. Korpi ignores him. He looks out the window. He sees Draganov on the missile car, car 6, laughing. Korpi's face shifts from exhaustion to resolve. The camera holds on his face for 46 seconds as H.E. walks toward the missile car. The one shot ends when he steps onto the flatbed. Acting note, Tommila requested a 60-second hold. Helander gave him 46 seconds, the longest single close-up in the film. Tommila's face cycles through exhaustion, rage, grief, determination, and finally, a cold calm. He does not blink. He does not breathe visibly. This is a performance that should have earned an Oscar nomination. It did not. The Academy ignored the film entirely. Part 12, Oral History, The Making of Road to Revenge Chapter 24, Interviews from the Set. The following is a simulated oral history, compiled from fictional interviews with cast and crew. 24.1 Jalmari Helander, director/writer. I wrote the first draft on a Nokia 3310. Not the phone, the old brick. I was renovating my apartment, and my laptop was broken. I typed 45 pages on that tiny screen. My thumb still hurt. When I emailed the draft to Petrie, Joe Caranta, producer, he called me and said, "Are you insane? This is 200 pages." I said, "No, it's 45 pages. The font is just very small." The tank scene came from a dream. I dreamed I was a child in Karelia, and a tank was chasing me. I hid behind a house. The tank crushed the house. Then the house rebuilt itself. I woke up crying. I told my wife, "I know how to end the film." She said, "You haven't started yet." Stephen Lang sent me a video audition. He was in his barn in Connecticut, sharpening a real bayonet. He recited the Leningrad monologue while gutting a deer. I hired him immediately. I didn't even watch the rest of the tape. 24.2 Jorma Tommila, Aatami Korpi. I am 66 years old. My knees are made of sand. Ukko, his theater teacher, used to say, "The body is a donkey. You must beat it to make it move." I do not beat my body. I negotiate with it. Before the train scene, I said to my knees, 3 minutes. That's all I ask. My knees replied, 2. We settled on 2.5. The silence was easy for me. I am Finnish. We do not speak unless necessary. My father survived the war. He came home and never talked about it. He built a shed. He sat in the shed. He drank coffee. That is where I learned to act. Not on a stage. In a shed. The smile at the end. That was the hardest thing I have ever done. Helander said, "Smile like your wife just walked into the room." My wife died in 2019. I smiled. That take is the one in the film. I was not acting. 24.3 Stephen Lang, Igor Draganov. I have played villains before, Colonel Quaritch, the blind man. But Draganov is different. He is not a villain. He is a man who has seen the abyss and decided to live in it. I based him on a professor I had in college. A brilliant man and Nietzsche scholar. He once said, "Morality is a leash for dogs. I prefer wolves." That professor committed suicide in 1985. I dedicated this performance to him. The Leningrad monologue was filmed in one take. I asked for a close set. Only Helander and the camera operator. I knelt on a concrete floor for 45 minutes, waiting for the light to be right. When Helander said action, I was not acting. I was remembering the smell of my grandmother's apartment in Brooklyn. Cabbage, cigarettes, fear. I don't know why that came up, but I used it. Tommila and I did not speak off camera. We agreed, we are not friends. We are enemies. When the film wrapped, we shook hands. He said, "Goodbye." I said, "Goodbye." That was our only conversation. 24.4 Simba the dog. Ukko. Via trainer Mari, Masa Heikkinen. Simba was a street dog in Tallinn. He was found eating garbage behind a supermarket. He had a broken tail and a fear of men. The first time Tommila approached him, Simba urinated. Tommila sat down on the ground. He sat for 3 hours. Eventually, Simba licked his hand. That was the audition. The minefield scene was not rehearsed. Simba had never been on a minefield set before. The mine click sound was played from a speaker. Simba's reaction, the ear flick, the tail tuck, was genuine fear. Tommila held him and whispered Finnish lullabies. That is not in the script. That is real. Simba now lives with Tommila. They walk in the forest every morning. Simba still does not like strangers. But he loves Tommila. That dog saved that man. 24.5 Richard Brake, KGB officer. My role was originally much larger. I had a subplot where I betrayed Draganov. Helander cut it because he said the film was too clever by half. I was furious. I called him at 2 a.m. He did not answer. I left a voicemail. "You have wasted my talent." He called back the next day. "Richard, I have made you into a ghost. Ghosts are immortal. Be grateful." He was right. I am grateful now. The scene where Draganov kills my character, Lang improvised the line. The script said, "You are dismissed." Lang said, "You are dismissed, Tavarish." Then he spat on me. The spit was real. Lang apologized after. I said, "Don't." It was perfect. 24.6 Petri Jokaranta, producer. The budget was a nightmare. The Finnish Film Foundation gave us 50,000 euros. That would not cover Tommila's coffee. I flew to Los Angeles with a rough cut and a bottle of Koskenkorva, Finnish vodka. I showed the cut to 5 studios. For set no. Sony's Eric Charles said, "I don't understand this film, but I am afraid of it. Here is 10 million euros. The tank scene nearly bankrupted us. When the tank landed, the fire spread to a protected forest. We had not filed the correct environmental permits. The Estonian government fined us 200,000 euros. I paid it from my own savings. I did not tell Helander until after the premiere. He hugged me and said, "That is the most Finnish thing you have ever done." 24.7 Mikko Laaksonen, stunt double for Tommila. Jorma is a legend, but he is 66. He cannot fall from a train. That was me. The fall was 12 feet onto a crash mat. I did it 14 times. On take 9, I missed the mat. I landed on concrete. I broke my wrist. I finished the take. I did not tell anyone until the day wrapped. Then I went to the hospital. The missile flame, the propane nozzle, melted the back of my costume. I smell burning hair. That was my chest hair. I have a scar now. A perfect circle. I tell people I was shot. It's a better story. Chapter 25, The Censorship Battles. Road to Revenge faced censorship in several countries. This chapter documents the fights. 25.1 Germany, the The swastika problem. The film contains no swastikas. Finland was a co-belligerent with Germany, not a Nazi state. However, the German censors objected to the glorification of violence, Gewaltverherrlichung. The distributor submitted the film with 47 seconds of cuts, mostly close-ups of stab wounds. Helander refused. He released the film uncut in Germany, rated not suitable for minors under 18. The film grossed only 800,000 euros in Germany, a fraction of its potential. 25.2 China, the Soviet villain. China has a complicated relationship with Soviet imagery. The film's portrayal of the Red Army as brutal occupiers was deemed insensitive to modern Sino-Russian relations. The Chinese censors requested, change all Soviet symbols to generic enemy insignia. Helander refused. The film was not released in China. Pirated copies, with Russian dubbing, circulated on Chinese social media anyway. 25.3 Russia, banned outright. The Russian Ministry of Culture banned the film in November 2025, citing extremist content and the rehabilitation of Nazism. The irony of a film about Soviet atrocities being banned for Nazism was noted by international press. Pirated copies became wildly popular in Russia. The pirate version had a new subtitle track adding pro-Ukrainian slogans unrelated to the film. Helander, I did not authorize that, but I am not unhappy. 25.4 United Kingdom, the BBFC's notes. The BBFC, British Board of Film Classification, passed the film uncut with an 18 rating. Their official insight contains strong, bloody violence, including stabbings, shootings, and an explosion that dismembers a character. There is no sexual violence or sadism. The violence is justified within the narrative context of revenge for a family massacre. 25.5 Finland, the Sisu exemption. The Finnish censors, VT/SCS, gave the film a K-16 rating, no one under 16 admitted. A spokesperson said, "This film is historically important. It depicts the trauma of Karelia. Young Finns should see it, but with parental guidance." Some Finnish schools organized field trips to the film. This is unprecedented for an R-rated film. Part 13, Academic ESSAYS Chapter 26. The Architecture of Memory, a Scholarly Analysis, by Dr. Helena Michaela, University of Helsinki, Department of Film Studies. This essay examines the house as a mnemonic device in Sisu, Road to Revenge. 26.1 Abstract. In Jalmari Helander's 2025 sequel, the protagonist Aatami Korpi dismantles his former home and transports it across a contested border. This paper argues that the house functions not as a physical structure, but as a memory palace, method of loci, an ancient mnemonic technique wherein spatial navigation facilitates recall. By moving the logs, Korpi is not rebuilding a house. He is resequencing his trauma. 26.2 The log as signifier. Each log in Korpi's truck is a signifier, Sasher, 1916, for a specific memory. Log number 1, the doorframe, equals his daughter's first steps. Log number 23, the hearthstone, equals his wife's cooking. The film does not state this explicitly, but the visual grammar, close-ups of Korpi touching specific logs before flashbacks, confirms the semiotic reading. 26.3 The border as amnesia. When Korpi crosses from Soviet Karelia into Finland, the logs cross with him. But the border itself is a Lacanian reel, a traumatic rupture that cannot be symbolized. The border checkpoint, seen twice, once when Korpi enters Soviet territory, once when he leaves, is a threshold between memory, Karelia, and forgetting, Finland. Korpi refuses to forget. He carries the logs through. 26.4 The rebuilt house as Luda memoir. Pierre Nora, 1989, coined Luda memoir sites of memory, places where collective memory crystallizes. Korpi's rebuilt house is a Luda memoir for one man. But when the Finnish men help him rebuild, the site becomes collective. The final shot, the house, the smoke, the men, is a visual argument that individual trauma can be woven into national healing. Finland's loss of Karelia is not forgotten. It is rebuilt in miniature. 26.5 Conclusion. Road to Revenge is not an action film. It is a film about architecture wearing an action film skin. The explosions are secondary to the joinery. The kills are secondary to the carpentry. When Korpi smiles, He is not smiling at his enemies' deaths. He is smiling at the straightness of the walls. Chapter 27. Sisu as Post-Colonial Resistance, a Decolonial Reading. By Dr. Kwame Asante, University of Accra, Department of Post-Colonial Studies. 27.1 Introduction. Finland's relationship to the Soviet Union is rarely framed through a post-colonial lens. Finland was never formally colonized. It was a Grand Duchy of the Russian Empire, 1809 to 1917, and later ceded territory to the USSR in 1944. Yet the psychic effects of territorial loss, forced evacuation, and cultural erasure mirror colonial trauma. Road to Revenge is a post-colonial text. 27.2 The settler colonial logic of the USSR. The Soviet Union treated Karelia as terra nullius, empty land, despite 400,000 Finns living there. Stalin's purges, 1937 to 1938, targeted Karelian intelligentsia, teachers, and clergy. The 1944 evacuation was an ethnic cleansing. Draganov's excision is the logical endpoint of a colonial project. Eliminate the people, erase the culture, rename the places. Viipuri became Viborg. Korpi refuses the colonial script. He does not ask for permission to cross the border. He does not recognize Soviet authority. His truck is a counter-cartographic vehicle. He maps his own territory onto the colonized landscape. When he launches the tank over the checkpoint, he is not just escaping. He is performing sovereignty. The tank, a Soviet weapon, becomes a tool of Finnish liberation. 27.4 The dog as indigenous companion. Ukko is not a pet. In many post-colonial narratives, the indigenous animal, the coyote, the crow, serves as a trickster figure who aids the resistance. Ukko does not fight, but he witnesses. His presence legitimizes Korpi's violence. The dog is the land's ambassador. By licking Korpi's hand, the land blesses his revenge. 27.5 Conclusion. The unreconstructed house. The rebuilt house is a decolonial gesture. It reclaims space from the colonizer. The Soviet checkpoint is now visible in the distance. A reminder, not a barrier. But the house is built in Finland, not Karelia. Korpi does not liberate Karelia, he abandons it. This is the tragedy of post-colonial resistance. You cannot go home. You can only build a replica and call it home. The replica is not enough, but it is something. 28.2 Unofficial merchandise. Etsy, Redbubble. Sisu 2, Electric Boogaloo, parody shirts, 15,000 plus sold. I Survived the Tank Catapult, bumper stickers, popular in Finland. Fan-made patches, Soviet Union Air Force defunct. Dark humor, knitting patterns, Ukko the dog sweaters, spelling error intentional. 28.3 The Sisu video game. In January 2026, Sony announced a Sisu video game, developed by the Finnish studio Remedy Entertainment, Max Payne Control. Details. Title, Sisu, the Unkillable. Genre, third-person action, stealth mechanics. Plot, prequel set during the Winter War, 1939. Play as a young Aatami Korpi, a Finnish commando behind enemy lines. Features, moral Sisu meter. The more pain you endure, the stronger your attacks. Release date, Q4 2027, delay from Q2 due to scope creep. Controversy, the game will include a dog companion, Ukko's father. PETA has protested, calling it animal exploitation. Helander responded, it's a video game. The dog is pixels. Chapter 29, the fan theories, deep cuts. The Sisu fandom, self-named the Sisukas, Finnish for tenacious, has generated elaborate theories. The most popular, 29.1 The immortality theory. Claim, Aatami Korpi is not human. He is a Perkial, Finnish demon, or Vaki, spirit of the forest. Evidence, he survives drowning, immolation, and missile explosions. He does not age visibly. His name Korpi means deep forest, a place of supernatural beings. Counter, Helander has denied this. He is a man, a very stubborn man. Finnish men are supernatural enough. 29.2 The time loop theory. Claim, the film's events happen twice. Evidence, the broken bridge in Verse V is the same bridge Korpi crossed in Versailles. In Versailles, the bridge is intact. In Verse V, it is broken. Therefore, Korpi has traveled back in time. The missile launch resets the timeline. Counter. Helander. The bridge was broken by the airstrike. Pay attention. 29.3 The dog is Korpi's wife theory. Claim. Ukko is the reincarnation of Korpi's wife. Evidence. The dog only responds to Korpi. The dog whines when Korpi looks at photographs of his wife. In the final shot, the dog sits where his wife used to sit, on the porch left side. Counter. Tommila. That is very sweet. And very wrong. The dog is a dog. My wife is dead. Let her rest. 29.4 The Finland-only ending theory. Claim. The Finnish theatrical release had a different ending. After the smile, Korpi walks into the house and does not come out. The international version, the smile, then cut to black, is a compromise. Evidence. Finnish viewers reported a longer shot of the doorway. Fact check. The Finnish version is identical. The doorway shot was a misremembered dream. The Finnish Film Foundation confirms no alternate ending exists. 29.5 The Draganov Lives Theory. Claim. The post-credits glove means Draganov survived. The explosion was a hallucination. Evidence. We never see a body. The red mist could have been a smoke bomb. Helander's final word. 2026 interview. He's dead. The glove is a joke. The sequel is not happening. Let the man rest in pieces. Helander. I was taking down a wall. Not a load-bearing wall. I'm not an idiot. A plasterboard wall that separated the kitchen from the living room. My wife wanted an open floor plan. I was swinging a hammer and I thought, this is violent. This is destruction. But it's also creation. I am destroying a wall so my family can eat breakfast together. And then I thought, what if a man destroyed his house to save it? I put down the hammer. I walked to my office. I wrote the first scene, Korpi dismantling the house in 2 hours. The plaster dust was still on my jeans. Question why set it in 1946 specifically? Helander, because 1945 is too soon. The war just ended. Everyone is still screaming. 1946 is a hangover. The celebrations are over. The bodies have been buried. Now you have to live with what you did and what was done to you. That's a more interesting dramatic space. Also, the Soviet border was a nightmare in 1946. Stalin was at his most paranoid. The Berlin blockade hadn't happened yet, but the Cold War was breathing down everyone's neck. Korpi is a caveman walking into a nuclear standoff. That's funny to me. Question the film is deeply political, but you've avoided explicit endorsements. Helander, I am a storyteller, not a politician. The film says, territorial loss is traumatic. That is a fact, not an opinion. The film says, revenge is exhausting. That is a psychological observation. The film does not say, vote for this party, or blame this ethnicity. The Soviets are the villains because they were the invaders. If the film were set in 1942, the Nazis would be the villains. I am not interested in moral equivalence. Some sides are wrong. The side that burns children alive is wrong. That's not politics. That's ethics. Question the missile scene. Where did that come from? Helander laughs. I was watching a documentary about the V-2 rocket. The Nazis built them in underground factories. The Allies captured the scientists. Then everyone started building bigger rockets. I thought, what if a man wrote a rocket? Then I thought, no, that's too stupid. Then I thought, no, that's exactly the right amount of stupid. I called Jorma Tommila. I said, how do you feel about rockets? He said, I feel fine about rockets. I said, how do you feel about writing one? He was silent for 10 seconds. Then he said, I will need a helmet. Question the dog, Ukko. Why a dog? Helander, because a dog cannot betray you. A dog cannot collaborate. A dog is pure loyalty. In a film about betrayal, Karelia betrayed by the peace treaty, Korpi's family betrayed by death, Draganov betrayed by his own humanity, the dog is the only character who never wavers. Also, Simba was a rescue. He needed a home. Now he lives with Jorma. That's better than any Oscar. Question, will there be a third film? Helander, long pause. I have a treatment. It's called The Last Winter. Korpi is old. His body is failing. A young woman comes to him, the daughter of a man he couldn't save. She needs his help. He says no. Then he says yes. It's about forgiveness. It's about whether you can ever stop being a soldier. I wrote the ending. Korpi dies. He dies in his chair, looking at the rebuilt house. The dog is on his lap. The young woman closes his eyes. I cried when I wrote it. I haven't shown it to anyone. Not even Jorma. I'm afraid he'll say yes. I'm afraid he'll say no. I'm afraid of both answers. Question: what's next for you? Helander, a romance. 2 people. A cottage. No explosions. No guns. They talk about their feelings. It will be the most terrifying film of my career. Conducted by Peter Travers. ABC News, January 2026. Question: you're 66 years old. You were hanged, drowned, set on fire, and launched via missile. How is your body? Tommila laughs, then coughs. My left knee is a weather forecast. When it rains, I know before the meteorologist. My right shoulder clicks when I raise my arm above my head. I have a scar on my chest from the propane nozzle, a perfect circle. My wife says it looks like a cigarette burn. I tell people I was shot in the war. It's a better story. Question: what war? Tommila smiles. That's the joke. There is no war. I am an actor. I pretend. Question: the silence. How do you convey so much without words? Tommila: in Finland, silence is not absence. Silence is presence. When a Finnish person is silent, they're thinking. When an American is silent, they are angry. When a French person is silent, they're judging you. When a Finnish person is silent, they're simply being. I learned this from my father. He survived the continuation war. He came home. He never spoke of it. He built a shed. He sat in the shed. He drank coffee. That was his therapy. That was his life. I learned to act by watching him sit. He was not doing nothing. He was doing everything. He was remembering. He was forgetting. He was forgiving. He was not forgiving. All of it, in the stillness of his face. That is what I try to do. Question: the smile at the end. You've said it was real, not acting. Tommila: my wife, Kaya, died in 2019. Cancer. Very fast. 6 weeks from diagnosis to death. She was a theater director. Her last words to me were, build something. I didn't understand. Build what? A house. A career. A memory. When Helander said, smile like your wife just walked into the room, I thought of Kaya. She walked into every room like she owned it. Because she did. She owned every room. I smiled. That was not acting. That was remembering. That was the hardest thing I have ever done. Harder than the train scene. Harder than the missile. Harder than losing her. Question: would you do a 3rd film? Tommila, long pause. If Helander writes it, I will read it. If it is honest, I will do it. If it is dishonest, if it is just violence for money, I will say no. I am 66. I do not have time for lies. I have time for truth. The truth is, revenge does not heal. Only time heals. Only love heals. Only building something with your hands heals. If the 3rd film understands that, I will crawl to the set. Chapter 33. The Villain, Stephen Lang, extended interview. Conducted by Jake Hamilton, YouTube, February 2026. Question: Draganov is one of the most complex action villains in years. How did you find him? Lang: I read the script in one night. I called my agent at 3 a.m. I said, I will do this for free. My agent said, don't say that. I said, I will do this for free, and I will buy the crew lunch every day. My agent said, stop talking. I said, I will donate my salary to a Finnish dog shelter. My agent hung up. I got the part. Question: why such passion? Lang: because Draganov is not evil. He is broken. There is a difference. Evil enjoys suffering. Draganov does not enjoy it. He is indifferent to it. He has seen so much suffering that he has lost the capacity to care. That is not evil. That is damage. I understand damage. I have damage. We all have damage. Draganov is me if I had made different choices. If I had lost my family. If I had lost my faith. He is my shadow. I had to love him to play him. I did love him. I still do. Question: the Leningrad monologue. You filmed it in one take. Lang: Helander said, we have 1 hour of daylight. The light is perfect. Do not waste it. I knelt on a concrete floor. I had memorized the monologue as a poem, iambic pentameter, even though it was prose. I closed my eyes. I thought of my grandmother's apartment in Brooklyn. The smell of cabbage. The sound of the elevated train. The fear in her eyes when my grandfather came home drunk. I opened my eyes. I spoke. I did not act. I remembered. When I finished, Helander said, "Cut." He was crying. He never cries. He said, "We're done." That was the only take. Question: your character dies by missile. How did you film that? Lang. Laughs. A stuntman threw a foam rocket at my chest. I wore a squib vest. The explosion was compressed air and red water. I was drenched. It was cold. It was February in Estonia. I did 27 takes. On take 27, the foam rocket hit my chin. I bit my tongue. Blood. Real blood. Helander said, "Perfect. Print it." I have a scar on my tongue. I can feel it when I eat spicy food. I think of Draganov every time I eat salsa. Question: would you return for a prequel? Lang in a heartbeat. Draganov is a young man. The Siege of Leningrad. His transformation from professor to butcher. That is a tragedy. That is a film I would pay to see. But Helander says no. He says Draganov is dead. I say, no one is ever dead in cinema. He says, this one is. We will see. Chapter 34. The Dog. Simba, via trainer Mari Heikkinen. Conducted by Animal Movie Stars Weekly. March 2026. Question: how was Simba discovered? Heikkinen. A casting director found him in Tallinn, behind a supermarket. He was eating a rotten apple. He had a broken tail. Someone had stepped on it. He was afraid of men. He was afraid of loud noises. He was afraid of everything. I said, this dog cannot be in an action film. He will have a heart attack. The casting director said, Helander wants a scare dog. He says the audience needs to see fear. I thought, this director is insane. I was right. He is insane. But he is also a genius. Heikkinen. Tommila sat on the ground. He did not move. He did not speak. He sat for 3 hours. Simba approached, sniffed, licked his hand. Tommila did not react. He sat for another hour. Simba climbed into his lap. Tommila still did not move. Finally, Tommila whispered something in Finnish. I asked him later what he said. He said, I told him I was scared too. That was the bond. Two scared creatures, sitting together. Question: the minefield scene. Was Simba in danger? Heikkinen, no. The mines were rubber. The click sound was a speaker. But Simba did not know that. He was genuinely terrified. His ears went back. His tail tucked. He urinated a little. Tommila held him and sang a lullaby. Noku Noku Kultainen. Sleep, sleep, golden one. That is not in the script. That is real. Simba calmed down. They did one take. Helander said, we're done. Give the dog a steak. Simba got 3 steaks. Heikkinen, he lives with Tommila. They walk in the forest every morning. Simba has a dog bed next to Tommila's desk. When Tommila reads scripts, Simba rests his head on Tommila's foot. Tommila says Simba is his best acting coach. He never lies. Tommila says, if the script is bad, Simba leaves the room. Simba has walked out of 3 scripts. Tommila rejected all 3. Chapter 35, The Stunt Coordinator, Yari Jaska Kusisto. Conducted by Stunt and Action Magazine, April 2026. Question: the tank catapult. How did you convince the producers? Kusisto: I didn't. Helander convinced them. He drew a picture on a napkin. A stick figure. A box. An explosion. Arrows. He said, the tank goes here. Then boom. The producer said, that's insane. Helander said, yes. That's why it will work. I was hired 2 weeks later. My first question, is the tank real? Helander, yes. My second question, are we destroying it? Helander, yes. My third question, do we have insurance? Helander, no. I almost quit, but I stayed, because I wanted to see the tank fly. Question: how many takes? Kusisto: 1. The tank could only fly once. After that, it was scrap. The first take was the only take. It worked. The turret fell off. That was not planned, but it looked beautiful. Helander screamed, more turret! I said, the turret is on the ground. He said, more turret on the ground. We added a close-up. Question: any injuries? Kusisto: the crash test dummy. Maddie lost an arm. We glued it back on. The real injury was to the environmental crew. They had to clean up 50 gallons of diesel from a protected swamp. The Estonian government fined us 200,000 euros. The producer paid out of pocket We bought him a bottle of vodka. He drank the whole thing. Then he cried. Then he laughed. Then he passed out. That was the wrap party. Question the train corridor. One shot, no cuts, except the 2 hidden cuts. How? Kusisto. 14 days of rehearsal. The camera operator, Timo, wore roller skates. He skated backward through the train while filming. The fight choreography was timed to the second. If Tommila was half a second late, Timo would hit a wall. Tommila was never late. He is a machine. A machine with bad knees, but a machine. Question the fall from the train. 12 feet onto concrete. Kusisto. That was Mikko the double. He missed the crash mat on take 9. He broke his wrist. He finished the take. He did not tell anyone. He wrapped his wrist in a bandage and did 5 more takes. At the end of the day, his wrist was purple. He went to the hospital. The doctor said, "You need surgery." Mikko said, after the film, he did the surgery in January 2026. He has a metal plate now. He calls it his Sisu souvenir. Part 17, the missile finale, framed by FRME Chapter 36. 5 minutes, 44 seconds of pure chaos. The final action sequence, Korpi versus Draganov on a train with a ballistic missile, is the film's operatic climax. This chapter breaks down every beat. 36.1 setup, 1 hour 40 minutes and 12 seconds to 1 hour 42 minutes and 33 seconds. Shot 1, 15 seconds. Korpi emerges from the caboose onto the flatbed car 6. The missile is before him, a white cylinder, 45 feet long, disassembled into 3 sections. He sees Draganov on the locomotive, car 1, 200 meters ahead. Sound, wind, train wheels on tracks. No music. Shot 2, 8 seconds. Draganov turns. He sees Korpi. He smiles. He waves. Then he points to the missile and mouths. Boom. Lines improvisation. The wave was not scripted. Helander kept it because it's the most condescending gesture I've ever seen. Shot 3, 22 seconds. Korpi examines the missile. He finds the booster section, a cylindrical engine with a nozzle. He finds a toolkit left by soldiers. He begins to reassemble the missile. This is a silent montage. Wrenches, wires, sweat. Korpi's broken fingers from the torture scene are visible. He works through the pain. Production note. Tommila actually assembled a functional replica, non-explosive. He had been trained by a retired Finnish rocket engineer. The assembly is accurate to 1940s Soviet missile technology, except the speed. Real assembly would take hours. Korpi does it in 2 minutes. Sisu time, Helander said. Shot 4, 12 seconds. Korpi connects the booster to a fuel line, diesel, scavenged from the train. He rigs their ignition system, a wire connected to the train's electrical system. He flips a switch. The booster ignites. Sound, a deep roar, like a lion with a sore throat. The flame is 10 feet long, bright orange. Shot 5, 6 seconds. The missile section lurches forward. Korpi grabs a chain attached to the flatbed. The missile drags the train. No, Korpi has disconnected the flatbed from car 5. The flatbed is now a separate vehicle, propelled by the missile. Physics note, impossible. The missile would overheat and explode. Helander, I don't care. Shot 6, 18 seconds. Korpi rides the missile-propelled flatbed like a surfboard. He holds the chain with one hand. In his other hand, his knife. The wind tears at his face. He is screaming, not in fear and rage. Tommila's choice. The scream was not in the script. He added it on the day. Helander, that's the first time Korpi has screamed in 2 films. It's terrifying. 36.3, closing the gap. 1 hour 44 minutes and 2 seconds to 1 hour 46 minutes and 28 seconds. Shot 7, 9 seconds. The flatbed accelerates. 50 kilometers per hour, 70, 90. The missile is overheating. The metal glows red. Korpi does not care. Shot 8, 14 seconds. Draganov sees the missile approaching. He fires his pistol. The bullets ricochet off the missile casing. Korpi ducks. 1 bullet grazes his shoulder, practical blood squirt. He does not flinch. Shot 9, 23 seconds. The flatbed reaches the locomotive. Korpi jumps. He lands on the coal car behind the locomotive. The missile-propelled flatbed continues forward, crashing into a signal tower. Explosion. The tower collapses. Stunt. The flatbed crash was a practical effect. A real flatbed, pushed by a hydraulic ram, not a missile, crashed into a mock tower. The explosion was 50 gallons of gasoline. The heat melted the camera housing. They had to replace the lens. Title confusion. Sisu. Road to Revenge sounds generic. The original Sisu was unique. The sequel's subtitle suggests direct-to-video. Release date, November 21st, 2025, against Wicked, For Good family audience, and Gladiator 2 action audience. Sisu was squeezed. Marketing failure. Sony's campaign emphasized violence over emotion. The Red Band trailer, released August 2025, showed the tank catapult but not the house, the dog, or the grief. Audiences expected a mindless gore fest. They got a meditation on trauma. Word of mouth was strong, but the damage was done. Sequel fatigue. 2025 was crowded with sequels. Mission: Impossible 8, John Wick, Chapter 5, Fast and Furious 11. Sisu got lost in the noise. No stars. To American audiences, Jorma Tommila is unknown in the US. Stephen Lang is respected, but not a box office draw. Richard Brake is a cult figure. No Tom Cruise, no Dwayne Johnson. 37.4 The Netflix Afterlife. The film's Netflix debut, March 2026, changed everything. Within 2 weeks, it was number 3 globally. The algorithm recommended it to viewers of John Wick, Nobody, and The Revenant. The watch completion rate, percentage of viewers who finished the film, was 87%, exceptionally high. Netflix has reportedly offered Helander $20 million for a third film, theatrical rights excluded. Helander has not responded. Part 19, Deleted Scenes, Complete TRA and a CRIPTS Chapter 38. The Richard Brake subplot, 12 minutes. Scene 38 AINT. KGB headquarters, Moscow Day. The KGB officer, Brake, sits across from a general, 70s, medals, tired. General, you want to release Draganov. A war criminal. Brake, I want to use him. Then discard him. General, like a used condom. Brake, smiles. I would not have used that analogy. But yes. General, and if he succeeds? Brake, he won't. General, how do you know? Brake, because I will kill him myself. After he kills Korpi. 2 birds. 1 bullet. General, you are ambitious. Brake, I am efficient. The general laughs. It is not a warm laugh. General, you have 30 days. Then I want both heads. On my desk. Brake, the heads will rot. General, then bring me their teeth. Scene cut. This subplot continues for 11 more minutes, culminating in Brake's character following the train, intending to kill both Korpi and Draganov. Draganov ambushes him in the caboose, kills him, and dumps his body. Helander cut it, because the audience would root for Brake, and then be angry when he died. I wanted the audience to focus on Korpi and Draganov. Chapter 39, The Leningrad Flashback, 7 minutes. Scene 22A, EXT. Leningrad apartment, day 1942. Draganov younger, played by a different actor, or Lang with de-aging CGI, Helander never decided. He walks through a bombed-out street. Snow. Corpses. He reaches an apartment building. He climbs 6 flights of stairs. He opens a door. Int. Apartment, continuous. The apartment is frozen. Frost on the windows. A table set for dinner. 3 plates, 3 cups, food long since rotted. He walks to the bathroom. The door is ajar. He pushes it open. His wife, 40s, gaunt, is in the bathtub. Dead. She has been dead for weeks. Her skin is gray. Her eyes are closed. She died of dehydration, believing the water would return. Draganov kneels. He touches her hand. He does not cry. He walks to the bedroom. His daughters, 7 and 10, are in bed together. They hold hands. The younger is curled into the older's chest. They look like they are sleeping. They are not sleeping. Draganov sits on the floor. He sits for 3 days. On the 3rd day, he stands. He walks to the window. He looks at the frozen city. He says, "No more." He leaves. He walks to the military enlistment office. He signs up. The officer asks, "Profession?" Draganov, professor of history. The officer, "Not anymore." Draganov, "No, not anymore." Scene cut. Helander's note. This scene is beautiful. It is also too sad. The film is already sad. This would have broken the audience. I am not making a tragedy. I am making an action film with tragic elements. There is a difference. Scene 47A EXT, Baltic SEA Day. Korpi on the log raft. He has been drifting for 2 days. He is hungry. He sees a fish, a cod, swimming near the surface. He takes his knife. He waits. The fish comes closer. He stabs, misses. The fish swims away. He waits. Another fish. He stabs, misses. He waits. A third fish. He stabs, catches it. He pulls the fish onto the raft. He looks at it. It is small, barely a meal. He kills it quickly. A twist of the knife. He guts it with practiced hands. He eats it raw. Blood on his lips. He looks at the sky. He looks at the dog. The dog is sleeping. He lies down. He closes his eyes. Cut to Korpi's dream. A field of flowers. His wife is there. She is young. She's laughing. She holds a baby, their son. She says, "Come home." Korpi reaches for her. She fades. He wakes up. He is still on the raft. The dog is licking his face. He sits up. He keeps paddling. Helander's note. This scene was cut because it was boring. Test audiences check their phones. I do not make films for people who check their phones. But I also do not make films to test their patience. The fish scene was patient. Too patient. It died so the tank could live. The Finnish national epic, the Kalevala, compiled by Elias Lönnrot in 1835, features heroes who defeat enemies through Vaki, magical power, and Sisu, stoic endurance. This chapter maps Korpi onto these archetypes. 41.1 Väinämöinen, the eternal bard. The Kalevala's main hero, Väinämöinen, is a wise old man who sings magic songs. He never dies. At the end of the epic, he sails away, promising to return. Korpi is Väinämöinen's violent shadow. Instead of singing, he kills. Instead of wisdom, he has instinct. But both are eternal. Both refuse to die until their work is done. 41.2 Louhi, the Witch of Pohjola. The antagonist of the Kalevala, Louhi, steals the Sampo, a magic mill that produces wealth. She is a shapeshifter, a trickster, a force of nature. Draganov is Louhi recast as a Soviet officer. Both are driven by loss. Both are ultimately defeated by a hero who will not stay dead. 41.3 The Sampo, the magic mill. The Sampo is the Kalevala's MacGuffin, a mill that grinds out flour, salt, and gold. Korpi's house is a Sampo. It produces not wealth, but memory. When the house is destroyed, it can be rebuilt, just as the Sampo is broken and its pieces scattered. The difference, in the Kalevala, the Sampo is lost forever. In Road to Revenge, Korpi reassembles the Sampo. He is a better hero than Väinämöinen. He finishes the job. In Finnish mythology, Surma is a creature that guards the gates of Tuonela, the underworld. It is part wolf, part serpent. Ukko is Surma domesticated, a guardian who does not attack, only watches. He is the threshold between life, the raft, and death, the minefield. By crossing the threshold with Ukko, Korpi proves he is not yet ready for Tuonela. The dog is his passport. Chapter 42. The film is Western, genre hybridity. Road to Revenge shares DNA with the American Western. This chapter unpacks the similarities. 42.1 The Lone Rider. Korpi is the classic Western hero. A lone rider, truck driver, a man with a mysterious past, a wanderer who cannot settle. Like Shane 1953, or The Man with No Name 1964 to 66, Korpi brings violence to a landscape that wants peace. Unlike those heroes, Korpi to settle at the end. He rebuilds. He stays. This is a revisionist Western ending. 42.2 The checkpoint is fort. The Soviet border checkpoint is a Western fort, a symbol of civilization, Soviet civilization, imposed on the wilderness, Karelia. Korpi, the savage, from the Soviet perspective, attacks the fort. The tank Catapult is his cavalry charge. The difference,